What's going on, guys, and welcome to the Vermintide 2 weapons tier list for Unchained. This will be the final melee tier list for quite some time until a new hero is released, hopefully in the not too distant future. We will be moving on to ranged weapon tier lists and a couple other things that I have planned for you guys that I think you all will like. But for Unchained, starting off in D tier, I have the sword. This is basically the same weapon as Crowbill's one-handed sword. It is a finesse weapon, meaning that it rewards headshots, more damage for headshots, quote unquote, high skill weapon. So the finesse multipliers, right after the big bounce beta dropped, the finesse multiplier was increased from 1.4 to 2, so you're doing that much more damage when you get a headshot. The only problem with this one is that it just doesn't do really enough damage to make getting headshots worth it, or really even to use it, making it worth it. The first two light attacks, for example, not horrible motions or anything, but they just don't do any real damage. Even if you get a headshot, it's just craptastic damage. It's barely anything. The third light attack is great. That straight downward motion, easy headshot, you do nice damage with it, but you have to use those first two light attacks to get to it, making it an extremely inefficient weapon to use. I will mention that this weapon does have a nice push attack. It's just a simple diagonal thing. That's actually not too bad. I kind of like that. But what really sucks about this weapon are the charge attacks. Now you might be thinking, but they're so friendly. They're so player friendly. Like they're just side swipes to the right, to the left, simple. And I agree, they are. But remember, this is a finesse weapon. This isn't like the Great Hammer on Crowbill. This is something that you're trying to get headshots with. So why is the charge attack motion something that would be more for like a body shot? You can try to get a headshot with it. Does it really do that much more damage than the body shot? Not really. Not enough to make taking the sword really worth it. At the end of the day, the biggest problem with this weapon isn't the motions or anything, although I don't like some of them. It's just the overall damage itself. It's the functionality of this weapon. It's very inefficient, and it doesn't do enough damage. D tier. Bumping up to C tier, we have the mace. Now the mace got quite a bit of attention in the big bounce beta. I'm just going to go over a couple things that they did to change this. The first heavy attack got a 23% increase in damage. The second and third heavy attacks roughly got a 30% increase in damage. The first light attack got a 30% increase in damage to infantry and a 60% increase in damage to armored enemies. It got faster attack animations, it got more range on its swings, and it has lots of uppercuts, which received 10% increased critical strike chance. That's a lot. But at the end of the day, I think this weapon still suffers from awkward attack motions. You have that quick kind of downward strike on that first light attack, and then everything else is just a weird kind of curving uppercut motion. It's unique to the mace. There's nothing else really like it, but it's just awkward and weird. Also, the push attack. Garbage. Hot garbage on this weapon. I'm sorry. It might be good for unarmoreds and things of that nature, but you throw a storm vermin in the middle of that horde, this mace hits any kind of armor, it's going to stop dead in its tracks. So that horde you were planning to kind of knock back, you're only knocking back half of it. You can do a body shot to an armored enemy with the push attack of this mace, and you will be doing literally 0 damage. It's just not worth taking. I will say that it is a little bit better than the sword, because you actually have a way of dealing with elites that isn't cumbersome and slow, as you can just spam that first light attack and hit them on the head, eventually killing them. I don't know that that's really the best way or the most fun way, but it is a way. So C tier. Up in B tier, I have the fire sword. Now if you're looking for a weapon on Unchained that does a bunch of damage and can just kill elites with ease and things of that nature, this is probably not the weapon for you. This is more of a support class weapon on Unchained. And let me explain what I mean by that. She's got the talent chain reaction, right? Which has been changed, increased a 40% chance for an enemy to blow up, a burning enemy to blow up. Not doing any kind of damage, but staggering everything around it. Which, if you have a giant horde and you can get like 2 or 3 of the little clan rats in there to kind of blow up and stagger, It can kind of knock the horde around, it can help keep your team alive, it can even help the efficiency of killing a horde. It's not so bad. You also have Bulwark. This weapon staggers just about everything, let your team do some more damage. Fantastic. Great. There's also Enfeebling Flames. This weapon happens to burn damn near anything, so those enemies are going to be doing less damage to your team, therefore you keep them alive. It has its uses. It's not going to do crap tons of damage. You can stagger Chaos Warriors with it, which is really nice, but as a damage weapon, not so great. Not ideal. That's why I have it in B tier. Simply a support weapon. Bumping up to A tier, we've got our first DLC weapon in the Crowbill. Now this weapon has great speed, really good damage, pairs nicely with Unchained's, kind of high stacking overcharge melee bonus damage that you can get up to 60%, which is very nice. It's got nice fluid motions. It's great for elites, but it's a single target weapon, meaning that it has incredibly low cleave. You can hit one, maybe two enemies at once with this, but it's so fast that it kind of makes up for it. I don't know that it does all the way, but it's definitely a very usable weapon. A tier. Up in S tier, a non-DLC weapon, the Dagger. This thing is fast, man. Got low reach, but the first heavy attack kind of makes up for that. As you can kind of stagger whole lines in a horde, you can stagger elites before they get into their attack animation, and it does a nice friendly little DOT, burning damage over time. Very nice. That second heavy attack, if you follow up with it, is great for killing Chaos Warriors, Raiders, Maulers, whatever you want to call them, Berserkers, even Plague Monks, as it is a nice easy headshot which does big damage, followed by a little bit of a DOT burning effect. It's nice. This weapon also lets you play Unchained however you want. If you want to do a more support thing, like with the Fire Sword, you can do that with the Dagger. If you want to go all out damage, you can do that as well. It's very versatile. Also in S tier, my personal favorite, another DLC weapon, the Flaming Flail. Before the big balance beta, the Flaming Flail, it was good, but now it's really good. They made one small change to it, but it had a huge effect. So that first heavy attack, when she swings it, kind of brings it straight down, right? It would always kind of stagger things when you did that, but now it does a burning kind of AoE damage effect, as well as a stagger. So you can just kind of keep spamming that heavy one over and over. You can take out hordes. You can bust up, elites that are close together. It's decent for fighting patrols, and of course it's a flail, so it ignores shields. This, to me, is now an excellent weapon. S tier material, my personal favorite on Unchained. Works great with Mainstay. Get her overcharged up, 60% more damage. Bust up that horde. Bust up those elites that are close together. Stagger everything, man. The Flaming Flail is awesome. That's my list. S tier, Flaming Flail and Dagger. A tier, Crowbill. B tier, Fire Sword. C tier, Mace and Lonely. D tier, I have the regular old one-handed sword. If you guys like this video, consider joining my Discord. The link will be in the description down below. Hope you all have a wonderful day/night wherever you are. Take care.